Hi everyone! Today is going to be the start of a new little series that I'm going to do, and that is showing you all of my organizational systems that I have set up for next year, 2016. So I have been working furiously behind the scenes to get myself organized and to figure some things out because, and I'm just going to explain the way my brain works. Once the holidays hit, and I'm going to say about November, Thanksgiving time, my brain does a shift and I'm kind of done for the year. Even though I have a little bit more to go, I automatically start thinking about next year and what I'm going to do and what my goals are and things like that. So I don't wait until the first of the year to set my goals or to figure things out. I want to hit the ground running when it's January 1st. And so that's what I have been doing, like I said. My very first goal or system that I want to share with you is that I want to read the entire Bible in a year. Now, before you get turned off, I want to explain that I really feel like everybody has a spiritual, an emotional, and a physical aspect to them. So if this is not your thing, I think that whatever you want to do for your spirituality and to improve that aspect of yourself, I think this can work for anything. I happen to be Christian, and so therefore I believe in God and I read the Bible. So this is what mine is going to be. So that being said, let me show you what this system is for me. And this is obviously going to be my Bible cover. Now, I don't know why, but I've never really had a Bible cover before. This is my first Bible cover. It's kind of odd. And if you've watched me for any length of time, you know that I'm not really a girly girl type of person. I'm not really a pink glittery person, but this pink Bible cover for some reason really spoke to me. And like the cover says, it just brings me joy. I love the flower. I love that it says joy on it. So I went with it. This is a large size. They do have a medium size as well. And everything that I'm going to show you, I'm going to try and link below in case you're interested. So I went with a large Bible cover. It does have a scripture on the back, and then of course it has a nice zipper pocket right here as well. So that's it. Another thing I want to mention is that I'm not really a morning person at all. I've tried and I'm just not. But in doing research for this, reading the Bible and being better with studying, what I found is that most people who are successful do it in the morning. And that kind of goes back with, because we believe in God, to put God first, you also start your day first with Him. So that resonated with me. But because I'm not a morning person, I felt like getting a bright, cheerful color like this will probably help me be motivated a little bit more to get up and read and study. I've always done well reading at night, but that's the key. I've only been reading. I haven't really been studying. And so anyway, that's why I ended up choosing this cover. Let me unzip this. I did also get a new Bible for this year. And I kept the cover so you could see what it was because I really like this. And I can't remember who introduced me to this Bible, but if I can find her video, I'll link that below as well. So I just got the King James Version Study Bible. Now, there are many versions out there. I am very comfortable and familiar with the King James Version. That's what I've always read and studied. So that's what I went with. And this also is the pink edition, which means it's the women's edition. So let me take that out and show you. Again, I went with pink. I don't know what's gotten over me, but I went with pink. I think it's going to help me get up in the morning. Hopefully, cross my fingers. Okay, so here's how it kind of looks on the inside. There are some other wonderful Bibles out there that have really wide columns. I don't know if they're called illustrated Bibles or I don't know. But anyway, they do have a wider column than this. I don't draw. I never will. I just don't have that drawing gene in my bones. But there are other options out there if you want those. But I more just underline and I like to take notes. So this doesn't have a ton of room, but it's going to be okay. So this is, again, what I chose. It's beautiful, and I love it. I just really love it. So it does fit well in here. I think I probably could have gotten away with the medium size on this one, but I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be too small. So that's how this Bible looks in the large cover. And from what I can tell, most of the Bible covers are pretty standard when it comes to large and medium, the same sizes. Okay, so that is my Bible. So number one, let me get this out of the way because now I have to show you my supplies for Bible study. Okay, so this is, you're probably familiar with this. This is the newest Orla Kiely three pack of cosmetic cases. I'm sure you're familiar with this as well. Orla Kiely's been had the Target line for many years now. I've never really had a reason to buy these, but I really, again I don't know if, I'm not even really a floral person. I don't know what's coming over me, but I do like the floral on the Orla Kiely. It's just so pretty. This is a beautiful, sky blue. This, I don't know if it's showing up on your screen, but this is a moss green, which is not my favorite color, but I like this combination. I really do. So this is her newest one. This does have, I wanted to mention, it does have these little, I don't know what these called, little rings on them. And I've just been kind of playing around with these. I do have these 2-inch book rings, which I'm kind of trying to do this one-handed here, but they do fit nicely if you want to keep these contained all together in a bag. Using a 2-inch book ring like this, it's a nice fit. It'll stay together. So anyway, that's just, like I said, something I've been playing around with since I will at some point probably take these out of the house. So let me start with the very first one. And I don't have dimensions on these, but you guys can figure that out. Okay, so here are my supplies that I have in here. All I have are a few washi tapes. These are specific. They are Christian, the only Christian washi tapes I have. So this just says love, faith, and hope on it with some flowers. This one is not technically, but it says hope with the heart. So I really like that. That's cute. I'll figure out something to do with the genie magic lamps there. And then this one is just icons of the cross and fish and scriptures and doves and things like that. So this one just fits really nicely flat right in there. Now, I did show this recently in my November favorites. I got this large one with the words on that. I'm definitely not going to be putting that in there because this makes it very, very bulky. So I will just have to keep that in my office. Then the next one is, I've shown this many times. This is one of my very favorite things in the world. This is a Pentel 8 highlighter. They call it either a dry highlighter, Bible highlighter, but essentially it's 8 colored pencils in one. So it's beautiful. Love it that it's compact and will fit just right in there. And I don't have to carry around 8 different colored pencils. This next one is, again, I'm in love with microns. They are one of my all-time favorite pens. They are archival ink, which means they're permanent, which is important for me because I'm a klutz and I spill things. So they're waterproof, they're fade proof, and they're also bleed proof, which is hugely important. And I guess I didn't really ever think of this, but these are fantastic for Bibles. Most of the people out there that I have done research on use microns to write in their Bibles, which I don't know, I just never thought about that before, and I have a bunch of them. But as you all know, or probably have figured out, Bible pages are very, very thin, like Hobonichi type thin. And they don't bleed, which is kind of blow your mind amazing. So I got this set, and the other thing I didn't realize is microns actually have a Bible pen set out there. It's on Amazon, and I'll link that one. I didn't end up getting that one. I do have a bunch of microns, like I said. What the Bible set is, the colors right here are going to be in the 05s, and then the black one is going to be in 01. So what they say is to use these to underline, and then use this one, which would be a smaller tip, to actually write notes on the side. Because I have uber small handwriting, I don't know if this is going to focus, but I just got the 005 set because I have all of the other, I have the 01 set, I have the 05 set, and I didn't have this one. And so that's what I'm going to be using. I like to write in different colors. I not necessarily, I do have a color coding system. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with that, but I just like to see some colors. So I will be writing in the different colors right there, and then just using this to underline different scriptures. But like I said, this will work for anything that you're studying for, any type of spiritual type thing that you're doing. If you're just studying, whether it's a habit or, meditation, anything like that, I think this whole thing would work for that. Now this I keep right here. It's just, since it's so flat, it fits really nicely right here in this back pocket. So do I need to have the cosmetic set? Not necessarily, but I don't want my pens floating around in here. This is a nice way to contain them, I think, and also I can just grab this and put this in my Bible bag and go to church if I want to. I don't necessarily need to take all of my supplies that I'm going to show you. I can just grab one thing and go, or I can just grab the whole thing. It's all nice and contained. That's why I went ahead with the cosmetic set. So that is, let me put this back in here. So that fits, like I said, perfectly in there. The next size, which is the medium of the cosmetic bag, I just have all of my Christian stickers in here, which this is just getting stuck on the plastic. These zippers are actually lovely. And let me turn this around. Okay, so most of my stickers I was going to show you are going to be this Faith That Sticks brand. I got the majority of my stickers from christianbook.com. And so that's the armor of God. Here's some praying hands, and there's some little Bibles. And then the other one, I do have one Stickity-Doo-Dah brand that just has some, I think, words of the Spirit is what they call it, and then cute little pictures that go along with this. And then the other main brand that I have is Carson DeLosa. You can get these from any teacher store if you have one around you. Lots of different ones. We pull just a few of these out. Under His Wings. They've got faith words, larger ones of those, and then the different love verses. And these do fit in here. I do have a ton, as you can see. I don't know if it shows how many stickers I have, but I have a lot of stickers. So, of course, no more plans to buy any more. I did have to cut this down because of the shape of the cosmetic bag, so it would zip. And, of course, now it's not going to fit very well because I've messed it up. Okay, so anyway, this does zip up really nicely. And I will say that for the most part, I will not be carrying my stickers around. This will just be staying on my desk. So I have tried to put it in here with all of my other things, but I didn't like it. It was way too fat and was hard to zip. So, and I don't really need this. I don't need my stickers. I don't play on the go or anything like that. I do have a surprise for you. So you guys might need to sit down for this one because this is big. This is the largest of the Orla Kiely cosmetic bags. So are you ready for this? Ta-da! I bought a Filofax, you guys. I'm still kind of in shock. I got a Malden. I got a Filofax Malden. Can you believe it? I can't. Okay, here's my little backstory on Filofax. When I started watching videos, umpteen years ago, the Filofaxes were really the only ones that were out there. The Filofax community is really the ones that started all the different setup videos and all that kind of thing. So when I started watching, I was just used to seeing ring-bound Filofaxes. And I was a Franklin Covey girl, had been for years, and I was an A5 girl. So I always thought in the back of my mind, great ideas, but I'm not going to buy a Filofax. I don't need one. And I really haven't ever needed one. I didn't have a use for another ring-bound planner until now, until I started figuring out that I did need to have some planning and some organizing for Bible study. And so I did. The other surprise is I got a personal size, which I've never had a personal size. I think what happened was when I did One Book July and was planning in my traveler's notebook, I figured out I could go smaller. I definitely cannot go any smaller than this though. So that's my huge surprise. I got a Filofax Malden personal size, and this is ochre, which you guys all know and have seen forever. But yeah, I finally got a Filofax. I finally have a use for one, and it fits beautifully. Absolutely perfect, beautiful fit in this Orla Kiely cosmetic bag. I will say, and I'll do a setup video later, because I don't want this to get longer than it already is. This strap right here is going to be your only snafu with this. And mine is not stuffed, and I don't have plans for it to get, super fat. I do have room to grow in here, but I think that strap is the only thing I think that's going to get in your way possibly. And what I have done is just make sure that if I put it in here, just to have it unsnapped, so you can kind of like push this down a little bit if you need to when you're zipping it. But as you can see, it's a beautiful fit and it doesn't get in the way. So then I just have this, and here's another thing. This corner right here, as you can see, gets a little pointy, and so you just have to start with that one to put it in this pocket right here. But as you can see, Both of them fit in here really nicely. You just have to get the Bible ribbon out of the way right there. And then it just zips up and it's all ready to go. Everything's right here and it has a nice little handle. It's lovely. I have really, really been enjoying this. Do I need to have a cover for my Filofax? That is debatable, but I went ahead with yes. The Filofax is very well documented that it has soft leather. If you like the scratches on it, it's totally fine. You don't need one. But I felt like if I wanted to have this in a bag, I wanted to have a cover for it if I was going to take it and have it be portable. So that's why I went with this, as well as the other ones fit perfectly with all my other supplies. I kind of figured out what I was going to carry and what I needed, all of my supplies, and then what I wanted to carry, and then that's how I knew that these cosmetic cases were going to work really well for me. So I do want to have a cover for my Filofax. It does, well actually before I put it in there, it does fit totally fine and perfectly in this without it, so you don't need it. But like I said, I want things to be versatile, so I want to be able to just grab maybe my Filofax and go, or I want to grab my pens and go. I don't necessarily want to take my entire system all at once. You know, when I go to church, I probably will end up taking, and that's another thing, is I probably will just end up taking this notebook. I am about halfway through with this one and just stick it right here. This probably doesn't make sense until I show you what my Malden setup is going to be, but this is probably what I'm just going to be taking out of the house. It's just my notebook, the Bible, and then my pens and highlighters right there. Anyway, let's move on to my very last thing that I have to show you, and that is coloring books for the Bible. Now, I know coloring books just got popular this year. I've had them forever. My style's a little bit different. I'm more of a simple kind of a girl, but I figured if I'm going to be studying the Bible, I don't have ADD, and I'm not trying to make light of that, but I feel like sometimes at church or when I'm at home studying, I feel my attention really waning. And so I think that having something to color to go along with the story that I'm studying is going to be very helpful. These are the three that I chose. The first one is very, very thick. It's got a ton of pages in here. I can't remember how many, but it's hundreds of things to color. This one I like. I can't remember the backstory, but it's something about metal plates, where these were originally drawn on metal plates or something like that. So here are all of the titles of the Old Testament, and then here is the New Testament. And then here's how these pictures look. I really like this. This may not appeal to a lot of artists out there, but since I am not an artist, I'm not going to be adding any details. I basically want to slap some color on and to have the repetition of the coloring. So these work out really, really well for me. I also like that on the back, they have the title, if you don't know what it is, and the scripture reference. So I know exactly which one it's going to be referring to. So here's just some examples of these. But like I said, I really like this, just with the blacks and the grays and the white. I just want to put a little bit of color on there to keep my attention. So like I said, that may not appeal to everybody. You probably didn't notice, and that's completely fine, but the only picture that they had in here of a woman was Esther, because naturally she has her own book, and she's the most popular woman of the Bible, I would say. So I went ahead and got this one because since I am a woman, women are important to me. So this is Women of the Bible coloring book. And it's kind of the same thing, just not as much gray shading in here, but just very simple. Well, to me they're simple, but they do have lots of details as well. Just some coloring pages and just the story at the bottom there with just different women, which I really like because a lot of these women are just mentioned very briefly. But I like that one. And then the last one I got was this one, which is, there's the artist right there, Carla, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but again, this is just kind of what I gravitate towards, which are here are the contents with, so it's like a scripture or a saying that goes along with a scripture. And then it just has very, very simple things. I found with a lot of the other coloring books out there, it kind of gave me a headache. And I mean that literally. They would give me headaches because they were so detailed and so ornate that just did not work for me. I ended up having to give away a lot of my coloring books just because they weren't working. But here's some examples of those. So really cute. Like I said, this is very simple for me and really just kind of up my alley. And I because I'm not an artist, I will not be getting fancy art supplies. I use Crayola. I really do. So like the twistables are my favorite because you don't have to sharpen them, and they're kind of a mix for me, at least between a crayon and a colored pencil. So that's really what I use. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to sharing the rest of my systems with you for 2016. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.